start? Where do we start?
Well, first of all, it looks like there's been some downtime because I was looking at, when I was on YouTube, I looked at your YouTube. It looks like you hadn't done a YouTube in quite some time. And then you came back and did a
Yeah,
YouTube.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
and the same thing with, posts in your social media. TikTok is a new thing that you tried. So what's been going on? What have you been
Oh,
up
okay,
to?
okay. So let's
Are you okay?
say again.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm okay, but I mean, a lot of
Okay.
stuff has happened. Like there were two major things. One is we got into a major lawsuit, which is actually going to the Supreme Court of Missouri. My
Wow.
neighbor decided to take out our tree line, and second, my father died. I took off a little bit of that. In fact, I'm going to Poland tomorrow for the
Wow.
funeral. So, but beyond that, 2 years of productization time,
Mm-hmm.
documentation, and all of that while
Mm-hmm.
finishing the home that we put on the market.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it was a hard time because it's at the place where we had this so far developed that you couldn't just get any volunteers or any other people to kind of jump in and help out. It was too complicated, and it's
Yeah.
the last mile problem. And we didn't really have the budget to really hire people. And if we did
Right.
hire, I mean, it would be questionable whether they had the full skill sets. Like because we use all kinds of we work differently. We use software like FreeCAD that nobody knows how to use. So like we
Right.
can't
Right.
really
Right. Right.
can't really hire architects. Architects we found don't design houses; they design concepts. So I mean, because of the level of integration of this,
Mm-hmm.
extremely difficult to hire any talent. And we did
Yeah.
have a little bit of money. In fact, we got Novo Foundation gave us 500K over the last 2 years.
Oh, wow. That's so great
Yes.
to hear.
So we had no problem. And in fact, I'm gonna ask them again. But
Did
the
you
big
have to, what kind of CYA did you have to go through to, how did you talk about what you were doing with the money throughout that time?
what's CYA?
Cover your ass. Martin,
That
did I just teach you a new term?
I was going to ask the same question, to
I'm
be
sorry.
honest.
You didn't know what CYA was? Oh my God. Don't tell me that's like a Hollywood term or something.
No, it's not. I've of course now that you jogged my memory, I'm well familiar with it.
Okay, okay. You
In
just didn't
fact,
expect me to say
for
it.
cultural education, I'd like to bring up Sturgeon's Law,
Yeah,
which is
okay.
you know that one.
I've heard it before, yeah, but I don't
Ninety
recall it.
percent of everything out there sucks. Choose the 10% that doesn't.
Yeah,
And
okay.
that really applies here because I mean this is a product like we've got a method now where in 5 days, including the utilities, we can build
Right,
this thing. It's the most
right.
amazing thing, and that's how it's going to bootstrap. Okay,
Well, so this is
so
the 5 day build.
yeah,
This is the whole, I mean, I saw a video where you're talking to a guy and he's got this property and he's talking about schools. And that was a recent video. So, are you
oh
going to
yeah.
be doing this on site at Factor
So
E Farm?
that one blog post I talked about the different 7 ways we're going to do this. So one is spec build.
Mm,
That's the bread and butter. Two
okay,
is low income builds, Habitat for Humanity style.
okay.
Three is kits. Four is build it yourself. Workshops where
Hmm.
the other one that I call the financial independence package is come here for 2 months and bring home on a trailer a 10 by 16 finished module with all the critical utilities, kitchen, bathroom, so you can add on very easily. And that's like to
Hmm.
me like the most practical, pretty much DIY build where we support you in building that, including all the complexity of the full product. But you take it home and now you've learned how to make additions, so you really get this seed home core
Right.
module, and with a big forklift we can put it on a trailer and send people away with it. So I think that's going to be another product to develop. But I mean the simple thing is 2 days of the week in an apprenticeship program, people build, we build, the students, and that pays. That's the bread and butter actually. That in those 2 days, because of the efficiencies we're gaining, the program is largely designed to be self-bootstrapping to the point that right now, so I was struggling like because this is a
Do you have like
big
a graphic or something that illustrates this business plan? Do you have a
no
business plan for this?
uh I've this it, only in words. No, we don't have a graphic on it.
Okay.
I wrote many wiki pages about the revenue model and all the information. The basics are, it costs a builder 180K. We can do it at 120 using this method,
Okay.
but also in 5 days as opposed to 5 months. So this is,
Right.
I mean, this is great. This is 10x, 100x.
Well, I've always felt that the concept of a day
Oh yeah,
being the metric for whatever you're building, whether it's a 10-day build for the
oh yeah.
tractor or, 20-day build for the oven. I mean, it doesn't matter, whatever that is.
That is hot, and I reviewed you. Yeah, I've seen that. You jogged my memory with that work we did before. It's right on. And by the way, like the Bioneers conference that you helped me, that was the best story. I reviewed all my videos. That was the best story outside what I would say outside a TED talk. It's
Oh,
great.
good.
Yeah. Oh man, just a nice brief intro to Poland and my background and the full story. I liked it. But yes, the one day is, man, we are ready to teach this. We tried an apprenticeship 3 years ago
Mm-hmm.
where we got 6 people to attend for 6 months, but it turned out it's no way enough time to learn this. So we're starting the 4-year program. But
Mm-hmm.
now, get a load of this. The best, so I'm having a hard time publicizing because it's a different audience, younger,
Right.
and all of that, and a bigger commitment for 4 years. But the package is learn how to
Mm-hmm.
learn how to design and build anything, and learn how to be a human, and learn all the architectures of civilization from how you build machines, to
Right.
how you design governance, to how you design legal systems, and all of that. So that's 4 years, and it's still a major
Well,
dedication.
I still think build yourself is the
Oh yeah.
foundation, because a lot of that becomes when you're building yourself, building the physical reality
Mm-hmm.
that allows you to have a habitat, or build your ability to have an income, or build your own capacity to actually manage and execute a vision. And so, I still think build yourself is the offer.
Yeah,
Um, I don't
I
know.
agree.
Adam's new to all this, so he'll have an interesting perspective
Yeah,
on all of this.
and man, and so that was a 2-year hiatus, basically uh, doing it alone. We're still going at the bootstrapping route because of that possibility of the revenue. Um, Means that like the house right now, it's like the budgets are, we can be doing like 50 to 100K per house net. That's after all the costs. So it's really good, and at a
Mhm.
much faster rate than standard builders. But given that, like,
But where will these houses be built?
so for example, we've got one build in Maysville right here. I've got like 8 lots in other
Okay.
cities, which are like St. Joseph and Savannah. Savannah's like one of those places where people want to move to. St. Joseph
Hmm.
is like an industrial kind of town on the
Hmm.
western frontier of the old United States by the river. So I mean, just anywhere. This is, and Kansas City. Yeah, I mean, we'll go wherever we want to go. I mean, serving the bioregion here, and then as we develop other facilities elsewhere, build elsewhere.
Yeah, it's so as usual, being the brain that you are, you have it all in your head,
Mm-hmm.
and just getting it down into sort of clarification and phases and whatnot is so.
Well, let me run that
Getting,
down just real quick.
remember there was a whole period where you went and you talked to colleges, right?
Yep.
You went to San Diego, you went, you did some 3D printing stuff.
Yep.
No, and I'm not recommending that, but I am recommending that. I do know that you had a real run of being an icon or a hero to the young ones in schools.
Yep.
And those are the people you are, you do have this opportunity to hook into the libertarian, anti-establishment, anti-structure world. They're out there. And I think that that is more or less you focusing on going on podcasts, pitching your story. But it has to be really streamlined and really clear. I think this is really about you having it down to where it's just really simple and clean and clear, and that you have the 3 prongs of the structure of the building yourself structure, and that you get out to like the Joe Rogans of the world.
Yeah.
I think that is where you're gonna get your volunteers, and there's a lot of those out there. It's a matter of calling and whatnot, because your social media is dormant.
Right.
So it will take you actually going through a couple of cohorts and using that material and being regularly active every day to bring it back to life. TikTok could be faster if we find an influencer or two in TikTok for you, but that's going to cost you money. We cost money. They cost money. You know what I mean? There are multiple kinds of influencers. There's macro and micro, and actually the smaller the influencer, the better, because people are actually paying attention to them. If you get too big of an influencer, it is, it's actually kind of a lot of money for not as much bang. But if you get the right influencer that on the TikTok side of things, that could be really great. So I see podcasts and TikTok and telling your story, but your story has to get really clean and refined. It can't be conceptual. It has to be simplified and clear, and the call to action, the benefit and the call to action has to be really clear. And it's not there yet because, like the putting up the video, you had a guy that was on there that you guys talked, and you talked for like a long time.
But hold on, there's a 5-minute video before that video. Did you see that one, the actual announcement?
Yeah, I loved it.
Okay.
Nicely done.
That's all. I mean, so you say you got to get the mission, the concept clear, but can you elaborate on that with respect to?
Well, I have to look at it again. I just refreshed it again. I just looked at it before we got on,
Yeah.
but I feel like we could get a little cleaner with it.
Okay.
I think it's you. The hierarchy of messaging is you get all this and more, and that approach is can only go so far anymore, right? I think your approach has to be this is the value. The value is, and I think you touched on something about the order of the world, but I do think the value really is that you are building your own way into the future without being hooked into massive debt, without walking away from an education system that leaves you without a way to make a living, with knowledge and a sense of purpose. I mean, 1, 2, 3, but it's so streamlined and so clean, and that would be the job of any kind of like social media.
Awesome. So what are you talking about? So to hire you guys or, I mean, your guidance. I mean, I have no clue about this right now, and so your guidance, and then
I would have to. I think Adam and I would have to. First of all, let me introduce you to Adam a little bit.
Adam.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, he's a very handy guy, by the way.
Adam's a very handy-
Adam, yeah. I'm from Northern Ireland originally, but live up in Vancouver, Canada right now, between Canada and Georgia in the States and Edinburgh in the UK. So I get around a little bit. And yeah, I come from a business management background and marketing, and I'm also an artist, painter. So lots of fun things.
Yep,
Excellent.
and very, very. When we started working together, I said to him, let me use the dude word. I said, dude, I'm 72. You need to really have it together with details, because I am hopeless.
Yeah, I'm one of those people that you probably are too, Marcin. Like a creative, but also detail oriented, and I enjoy the details of things, and analytics and administration, stuff like that. But I'm also creative.
A creative and detailed oriented. Is there a word for that?
Weird. I don't know.
Listen, yes, it's weird.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah, right.
But so
the
what-
thing I struggle with is, I mean, creative as in people are so digital in terms of the way they think. They don't. The big deal about our program is to expand people's minds to that, and I believe it's so teachable. Like genius is, I don't know if you've seen this, but genius, in other words, divergent thinking. So you're describing divergent thinking, not convergent thinking. Most children have that. By 2 years old, 2 year olds, there's a study, 98%. By the time you get to 18, it's 2%. So our
Wow.
mission is we're going to recover genius. We're going to free you at 18. We still have a chance to get you. I mean, I think I've done it. Like I've done it largely through, I would say, meditation was my key to it. But I was retarded like anybody else after Princeton and in University of Wisconsin. I started kind of like University of Wisconsin started getting transformed to more creativity through the meditation and just much more the
Are you
insight.
still doing it? Are
Oh
you still
yeah.
meditating?
Oh yeah. That's my key. That's who you're talking to a meditator, not like
Yeah.
a yeah yeah. You're talking to the creative part, which is I connect to the universal computer on a daily basis and download. I mean that's what I do. It's
Awesome.
the most amazing, and I think we can teach that. That's actually the learn to be a human part of this program. I want to
Hmm.
teach that. I
Are you
know
going to
it's
teach meditation?
sorry. Say it. Say again.
Are you going to teach meditation?
Yeah, we are. We are. We're
Great.
going to do it. I
Awesome.
mean, whatever way you can access unlimited power.
Yeah.
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 That's
Well,
awesome.
yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Adam.
And there's, I mean,
No, I was
there's
just
so
that conversation makes me think of a podcast I'm listening to right now called the Telepathy Tips.
oh yeah.
Have you listened? Oh, incredible.
Okay.
Me too. I wonder why I'm listening to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
but that's
Okay,
really
but let
cool.
me let me fill you in on the last detail of the missing puzzle. So I was getting like, oh, this sucks. The audience. I'm kind of troubled by the young Gen Z. Like these people are out of control. And so then yesterday I got back onto the concept of the fellowship. So turn it from apprenticeship to fellowship. And in fact, right now I want to fund it. So with our money, and that is for full rides, 100K grant, work study grant for exceptional young people to redesign the world. So it's so this now starts sounding like Teal Fellowship, which is that kind of okay. You're the extreme performers out there, but I think we really got to get to those people because we're looking for a cohort of 24 people, and like this, I think it's more to be better to be focused on very specific, like the extreme performer target audience. And of course, we may not get as many peak performers right now because we don't have any you know the track record or the publicity yet. But definitely working towards that direction of like the Teal Fellowship, because this sounds extremely like we're going to give you 100K grant.
Or you just you just
Yeah.
you just said the name of the dark force.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And this is like,
Uh,
so people are going to see that on what the Y Combinator email list, and is like, oh wow, that sounds like the Teal Fellowship, except for
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, man, don't even say his name in front of me.
oh man,
I am
well,
just,
yeah, yeah.
oh,
Katerina shares the sentiment.
that little fucker. Well, listen, I'm living a gay life, right? I'm gay, right? He just breaks my heart with with just his
It's
betrayal, everything that he's living.
man,
He and
it's
Curtis Yarvin. Did you read Curtis Yarvin? Are you a
no,
Yarvin person?
no.
Yeah, you got to be. Yeah, but I want to get back to this how to get this out there and do it in the best way possible and clarify get the clarity of the messaging going. I think that's really the key. So the question is, have you gone after like a Red Bull or someone like that?
No, I've
Or-
done nothing over the last 2 years. I just emerged
okay,
like from down Periscope a week or two ago, and it was that's yeah, which is different than what I usually do, right?
right.
Yeah,
Well, I'm happy for you that you actually took that time, and
yeah,
I think it's really important. And and I relate to Katharina because there's not enough. I'm sure she can't swim enough to swim her way out of the dark cloud. I totally understand that.
yeah,
But it's this constant uphill battle the life you have chosen to lead, which is trying to bootstrap. You know what I'm saying?
yes, I do know what you're
That's
saying. However,
that's
here's the one-line summary:
oh
24
man.
people this year,
Yeah.
24
Okay.
months next year, and
Okay.
my new number is 100K replications,
Okay.
each serving 100K people. That covers 10 billion people. That's the entire world. We can do
Yeah.
this within 10 years. That's my plan. And I think that economics speak for itself. Just got to
All right.
execute now.
I want little sketches from you about how this plays. I need to see it. I'm a schematic person.
Yeah,
I need my
me too.
schema.
Me too.
So if you can sketch out by hand a schema and send it to us so that I can see the plan, because it's a lot, because
Yeah,
you're still looking and roughing out which parts, which verticals inside the model. There's multiple verticals that you seem to be talking about. So I would like to get really
yeah.
to
We're
see how you're going to phase it, how it's going to go, where it's going to
yeah,
happen, and then we can
yeah.
actually understand how we can help you
Right.
in the
And
best way possible.
right now, it's the 24-person campus right here
Okay,
with the rapid learning facility and the
okay,
experimental pad.
okay,
This facility grows to 240 people,
okay.
and they're all dedicated to housing. Other places can be dedicated to other things, like now we're going to take rockets and space travel or semiconductors. But for now, it's this. But this is broad. We're building our machines and we're building materials. We know how
Okay.
to build bricks or make bricks with our open source equipment. We're going to
Yeah.
productize the tractors so it's as good as the CD Go Home right now. That's the
Okay.
kind of deal.
Okay.
But I want
Now,
to
are you hooked to, I'm sorry, go
I
ahead.
want to start with like the only thing you need to know is that is the core of the revenue model, which is that 120 versus 180K. And think about that a lot, because if you can grok that, then you'll see how these crazy things that I'm telling you about are they're not like pipe dreams. They're realistic, and each student that comes into our place, say, okay, just to tell you the OSC fellowship idea, if we're paying 100K for those 4 years, free tuition, because we're actually charging 15K tuition for other people. But the idea is that a person of caliber, or an average, no, even an average person, they will generate that much worth in those 4 years. If you look at the numbers, if they're working 16 hours, 2 days a week, that's the work study
Wow.
part. In that time, they're generating enough capital to actually bootstrap themselves. And we're actually not losing money on it. We're actually making money from each applicant because of the high value production that they engage in as part of their core integrated program. Okay, that's it. I'm done on the concept.
Well, the 5-day build is an interesting thing. And is that from breaking ground moment to last?
Absolutely. This is from that includes the grading to the PV on the roof.
Okay,
And
okay,
this is what we've been after. We've already shown in this house that from a
yeah.
finished foundation, we can do the shell and PV on top. We didn't finish the inside at all.
Okay.
Now I've got all the details, all the data. I took extensive build data for how every single task, how much it takes, and streamlined the design to it's just like nah. It's
Okay,
just optimized for
right.
a build to fit.
Let's talk a little bit about the words to sustainable.
Yeah,
So the materials,
yeah.
they're sourced from, most of them from,
It's all commercial grade right now. The only thing
okay.
the thing sustainable right now is that at the price point of a regular house, we're including 6 kilowatts of PV,
Mm-hmm.
and we're also including a lot of like really high insulation. It's like 50 on the roof. Beyond that, it's pretty much standard except for water saving and energy saving appliances, a heat pump and all that. Now,
Okay.
the next steps are you don't want me to start talking because this is going to end up in hydrogen fueling station for cars. We develop the
Mm-hmm.
cars too, but that's coming in probably in 4 years. So
Okay.
from the solar, immediate step right now is heat pumps that heat water. So at night, during winter and summer, you have either heating or cooling through thermal storage. That's a proven thing, absolutely proven, and we're going to execute on that.
We,
One
we have a
thing,
heat, we have a heat pump.
yeah,
It's not thermal, but we have a heat pump.
yeah, exactly, and with thermal storage, that's the way. I mean, heating and cooling is the biggest load of a house.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Now we've gone that big step towards off grid, where now you literally, with a small battery, just to run your electronics and things, you're off grid capable right
Right.
now. So that's that. Now, of course, though, you've seen the compressed earth blocks. That's coming in the next iterations. We didn't do it now because it's much harder. That is way harder than stick. but we're going to do that. So you're going to get full hippied out very soon. But right now we have to make the economics work, and we understand this well, which the point being that it allows us to take all those steps, such as the PV already included. Things like that.
I've been,
Under the
I work for, one of my clients is an architect. So I'm inundated with stuff. I'm certainly inundated with, the world of tiny homes and the world of container homes, which are really making way now. They really are. And also with the prefabbed pods that just come and land on your property with easy hookup available. So, and they're all in that sort of 190, 250 range. And I don't know how shipping plays into that, but anyway, it'll be interesting.
That's all of that is much more expensive than what we're off, because you got to look at the size.
Yeah, the size, but also, I mean, what they do have to offer is a little bit of niceness, a little bit of luxury to them, I have to say. But I see these all day long.
You've seen the MLS posting of the house, right?
Yeah, it's good. It's looking good.
Yeah.
So,
and that's that route.
That started off as a seed home, and then you added on, correct?
Yeah, so full kit homes, like what you described just now, that's a future product. I think before that product is the financial independence package, where for about like $60K, you build that in materials and our service fee, like it'll be as low as like 40 to 60K. You're driving away with that 10 by 16 core module with kitchen, bathroom, and all the critical infrastructure. But yeah, kit homes, absolutely. And what I just described right now, that will lead into the kit homes, and we're already thinking about the heavy forklifts and all that to move this stuff around.
Right.
Yeah.
So this other thing has to do, other question I have for you has to do with off-grid living in different counties and states. Not as easy to do here in California, but it sounds like it's okay in Missouri. I'm assuming where you've got your properties, it's all happening. Joe, you going to help people manage when they leave your place? Will they learn about building plan?
Go for the codes. Our build is code approved, so just connect to the grid. If you want to use a hybrid inverter that allows you to do solar priority, meaning you're suckling off the sun first instead of the grid first, and when the grid goes down, you still have power.
Right. I love it. Suckling off the sun. Okay.
Sun suckling.
Standard inverters, if the grid goes down, you don't have power in the daytime when it's full light, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't do that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we need to, I need to put my little noggin on it, because you are dormant, and I know you want it all done, and you want results right now.
Yeah.
That has to be tempered a little bit, but actually getting to your people, I really think it has more to do with putting a pitch package together for you that goes out to every podcast that we can find that is your people. What do you think, Adam?
Yeah, like you were saying at the start, Emily, getting the messaging clear and concise, and to a point where you can just send it to anyone and they can read it in a few minutes and understand what the message is and what you're getting, and the value, which you touched on the whole conversation, But I think there's plenty of ways we can attack this.
Yeah, and then just to say it. So podcasts is a way of getting your face connected to people who have followers. Okay, so that's the key part of it, and also maybe looking at I wouldn't touch TikTok unless you were actually getting it some influencers that are appropriate to what you're doing, that would want to go with you into this, right? And I think that that's really important. So, and they're going to have to believe, and they're going to want to know that you'll stand by your offer, and that but I do think that could be really interesting So I'm thinking TikTok influencer slash, which is global, and which I think is kind of an interesting possibility for you. And then
Also,
Except,
YouTube, by the way, so
but hold
many
on,
YouTube opportunities.
and YouTube, yeah,
but hold on,
YouTube.
because just back to clarity on what we're advertising for, and that's for the 24-person apprenticeship. That's what we're doing. Unfortunately, that's only Canada and the U.S. because of visa issues, so it's not global.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, you're global anyway.
yeah. Except they're not going to be able to actually come to the
Right.
program.
Right.
But part of it is actually getting actually approved for that. Understanding that also, yeah, if we get any person here, it's
Right.
going to be hard for them.
Right.
Yeah, to go through the
Right.
paperwork. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then we just got to figure out. So what is your? Do you, in order for you to pay us for our services, I'm thinking you have to sell the house to have cash flow to advertise and to get people on board. How's this work?
Well,
Do you have a budget?
right now we have a budget, but yeah, we have money right now. We've
Okay.
got the house is going to be 250K. We've got 300K in the bank. We've got probably I've got I was gonna end up burning my Bitcoin, which is like 800K right now, to start up and all that. Like, I think we got money right now. I was gonna.
Right.
Part of it was
So
actually going out to foundations more, like the Nova Foundation. We're gonna ask them for more money. But the real deal is like, forget about all of that. It's like, are we succeeding in the 24 first cohorts?
right.
Are they succeed? Because the timeline, even at the 2 days and an extremely inefficient build, is still 6 weeks
Yeah.
per house. So you're talking about that kind of. So the realistic projections are we're building 6 houses this year, and then
Okay.
many more next year. Um,
On at the E Factor farm, 6 houses. How much land is there?
no, these are spec for sale.
Okay. So in properties around.
Infrastructure builds here. I mean, experimental facilities, micro house village for the students. We were thinking about after 6 months, you get some skills. Hey, come on site if we
Yeah.
like you. Build your micro house village as part of your civilization reconstruction experience, on the
Okay.
job experience, because you have
Okay.
to think about design and even governance and definitely the technology and all
So
that.
this is where I'm not clear. I know it seems like I should get it by now,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
I don't get where people are going to go to do this.
Okay,
The
so we want
24 people, the
yeah,
24.
24 people. We're hiring all of them at 72K starting or 95K for the enterprise track, which means they're running crews.
Okay.
Now, defection is if they go away and they think they could do something better. Then we didn't teach them about how to collaborate, because we're saying we're going to save the world, but the only way you can do it is if you build massive amounts of people who are coordinated to actually work on it full time, like according
Right.
to OSC spec, not to like bullshit like Teal.
Right.
So that's the whole point. When they go away, they join Teal. That's what. Well, they're not going to do that, but they're going to be not engaged in a direct path to collaborative creation of abundance. So
Right.
here we constantly develop. Everyone contributes to developing the revenue model. But the
Mhm.
next thing is, after we populate this place with so many people, the first person that qualifies, they're continuing their education after the 4 years. So like the graduate level program, your
Mhm.
direct intent, you're doing one of these campuses elsewhere. Take it to Edinburgh.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
100K
So,
worldwide. Simple. Very simple.
right.
More than McDonald's.
Okay. So it sounds simple to you,
Yeah,
but it isn't. You want us to like make this thing happen. It's like, okay,
well, no, I
I'm
mean you're going to
I'm
get
one of the
there. We're
24
not going to
people.
get there
All right.
overnight, but I do believe that in 10 years we can have 100K facilities,
Okay. So
which is
you
insane.
you
That's
decide
prediction.
you decide that I'm one of those people that is a good. I'm 24, and I saw in your thing that first there's an interview, and then you write something about why you want to be part of it, and then there's those like 5 steps.
Build. You bring your own module on site, and we're gonna build a freaking workshop with the 24 students that are coming right there in half a day.
Right.
That's what's
Okay.
gonna happen. It's going to be so good.
Well, so there's a series where you approve each one of
Oh
those
yeah, so
24.
we got one guy who's seriously applying right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks pretty good. It's about mindset. It's about mindset. I'm not expecting skill sets. We're gonna teach all of that,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Now, one more thing. The only problem is I didn't know how hard this was hard to sell. Like I'm getting depressed right now because it's a hard to sell, right? So we got one person so far, and the actual start date was July 15.
Okay.
That's not that's right now. It's not looking good for that. I
Hmm.
still have some hope actually after posting to the some of the list serves for the basically for the startup audience.
Okay.
That's where
Okay.
the Teal stuff comes in because he's actually got a lot of good resources. I'm just copying all he's done effectively,
Yeah.
right? So
Okay.
all the venues and all the mentorships and
Hmm.
startup assistance and all that. I
Hmm.
still have hope we can do, but I'm gonna talk to my guy in the next interview and say like, hey, can we start September 1? And that's still like extreme because you know to get an audience for a school, I was looking at it online. It takes
Right.
like 1 or 2 years. Well, we're not
So
only
let's
doing
say he
that,
was
but
actually starting on July 1st. Okay.
July 15, he
July 15th.
thinks,
Let's just
but
say
he's ready
what
for
is
that.
day one. He gets on a plane. He's approved, or he's done the 5 steps.
Yep,
He's gone through it. Okay, he gets on a plane and he flies to Missouri,
Maysville, Missouri.
and he shows up.
Yep,
Then what?
we start school.
He
We
starts school.
we start school,
And-
so it's 3 days of school and 2 days of build. So the first day will be orientation naturally, but the first thing would be where I'm just pumping them with possibility. So
Okay.
just like in a application, they have to build a module. Like we're starting right away. We're saying, look, we're gonna do incredible stuff, and so
Uh,
I'm like a motivational speaker,
okay.
and we start class, and probably it will be orientation to the workshop. The rapid learning facility concept is the idea where in this facility you have all these prepared kits, kitted out things. So here you learn everything about installing a heat pump right in this, in these very rapid learning modules, right?
Okay. Okay.
That's the kind of style we're doing. So you have to learn like
Right.
742 micro skills. Do it at your own pace.
142 mark skills.
743, to be exact.
43.
I'm just making it up, but it's 743. It's about 1,000 micro tasks that you have to do going through the 20 trades of the CD to home, from hardscape to PV to plumbing and electrical,
Okay.
all that stuff, right?
So
But
the
it's broken down into tiny bite-sized chunks. You can learn them and test, so you set your own pay. What
okay.
skills you got, you set your own pay. Because we're documenting very explicitly. They're helping to document this so that for the next cohorts, we know better and better what the data is on
Of
what your
course.
pay grade is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's your style. You're always improving the
Yep.
workflow. Um, okay, that helps. So I'm getting 2 days a week. I'm getting the
Uh,
rapid learning
well,
process.
okay. No, it's not that rapid learning. That will be in the third day. The 2 days, we're actually going. We've got a foundation poured in Savannah, Missouri.
Okay.
Go to Google Maps right now. You'll see our foundation. We're
All
building
right.
the house. The first day of work when we take our trucks with truck nuts over there to and diversity flags and truck nuts. We take it over to the site. And we start assembling the modules. All the modules. Ooh, we already built all the modules 2 years ago in the last workshop. We were gonna finish the
Okay.
house, but it was brutal cold weather. We couldn't do it. So we still have
Okay.
those modules. We're gonna start installing them. The first day we've got like half the house built.
Okay.
At least half framed, probably to the second floor. So,
Okay.
well, no, just probably the first floor, blah blah blah, whatever we do. But they're like right in, and they're learning on the job. So um, that'll be the first work day. Now, the rapid learning facility will be more like that's the how to build and design anything. So, but we first have to knock out the house. Like for the first 6 months at least,
Okay.
we're not really getting into any other stuff, and people go at their pace. So as soon as people are ready, we start teaching about, well, here's how you design other things. Here's how you start designing tractors, construction set approach, meaning we teach you how things are built from the ground up, kind of like this tractor is a box with wheels, and you got
Mm.
shafts and hydraulic motors and controllers and stuff.
Mm.
So
Okay.
And then other days are so you learning how to learn. There's a day, and I'm saying like these days, but of course the curriculum will be like a few classes a day, like equivalent to probably 9 credits in the main course,
Mm,
9 credit
okay.
equivalent or so. But learning how to learn, meaning like the actual real skills of how do you learn, how do you form accurate mental models, general semantics,
Hmm.
how do you count, how do you
Hmm.
read. I mean, all these things at the true deep level that those things can happen at, right? So
Okay.
teaching this shit I never learned in school. I mean,
Yeah.
damn. And then you do that which you never ever learned in school, and that's how to be a human. So all the soft skills, including
Hmm.
negotiation and public speaking, or maybe theater and art. No, true. Like you have to learn how to make media for our publicity. Emily, you're going to teach us. You're going to teach us brand architecture. All is going to be included in there. And in the survey, the way it, yeah, there's pedagogical methods. I'm running into this a lot. Well, what's the state of art in terms of how you do experiential learning? There's techniques
Hmm.
for all this. So what I'm saying is, it sounds like wow, that's a lot, but we'll struggle and
No,
we'll see
I'm
how far we can
I'm a
push
big
it.
believer in immersion,
Yeah, yeah,
and inculcation. So you get to a certain point. I mean, I play tennis.
yeah, exactly.
It only took me
Exactly.
22 years to learn a forehand.
Yeah.
I was born with a backhand, but it took me 22 years to have a forehand.
See.
Seriously.
So
But that is the thing. I do see that you could do this. I'm looking for the stick figure story, which is,
mm-hmm.
I want to know that OSE Homer no Omar Seymour Ectol comes to your Omar Seymour Ectol. I just made up that name. OSE arrives at your farm. Omar's there, all right? And so to really create a streamlined thing. I mean, just a schematic of like, there he is, this is going to happen, and he's this kind of a guy. So we'll just pick his one direction because you're making it fairly fluid for different types. And then we do this, and then we go over to the place, and then we build out, and 6 days in, we've got a house, boom, and it's starting to replicate, sell itself. I don't know how long Omar stays. Maybe he then goes off to another place to do something. You know what I mean?
We want them for
So
4 years because you're not going to learn all this stuff. We want to teach people an abundance mindset. That's our goal.
okay, okay,
And
all right.
it'll
So
take
if
a
you
long time. It's literally we're talking about solving for the reptilian brain of
yeah.
fear.
So a day in the life is something that we may never tell the public, but Adam and I will need to understand it. The years, 4 years in a life. We just need that. We need it to be really clear.
Mm-hmm.
I'm recording this so I can look at the transcription and try to piece it together.
Yeah.
But you've got it down pat. It's just that for the do you understand every aspect of this, Adam?
Oh, definitely not. But I've got notes, and I need to wrap my head around it. But um, yeah, I'm thinking of it in terms of like having gone to university, like a university, typical university degree, 4 years or whatever. You get your curriculum. You have one place to go to. This is obviously totally different, but
Well,
yeah,
we're describing our first campus, right?
right.
Yeah.
That's what we want to make. And the interesting thing about it is it's not just a campus like in college. It's actually a real micro civilization. We're creating all the
Right.
infrastructure, including social infrastructures,
And you're also creating collaboration.
yeah, collaboration.
That is the key distinction. I mean, sure,
Right.
there are courses in college that have collaborative aspects to them, but no, it is really when you're so when someone comes to me over the years, and I've had companies where I needed to hire people, and I learn that they are a theater person, that they have a degree in the theater, I will nab them instantly, because I know that they are into literature and history. They understand the difference between serial and parallel, how electricity works. They understand how to sew buttons. They understand commitment to timelines. They know how to meet a deadline. They're the most Renaissance person you could possibly have as a theater person
Yeah.
because they learned everything that you have to do. No one can go into theater and graduate in theater without having done every aspect and function of theater.
Cool.
Mm.
Interesting.
And that is the truth, that the holistic approach to and that's why being in theater is so addicted to people, because they find a lot of fulfillment and value in it. It's also the most political thing you can study. It's lots of, in theater at that time of age, it's like just, crazy hormones and
Wow.
strange.
That
I
sounds like
have
you
to
should be
say.
recruiting from the theater audience.
Oh, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
anybody that's studying theater, um, it's really just, as a designer, I learned how to weld. I learned how
Holy
to
cow.
build structure. I learned, step heights. I learned how to,
Hmm.
rim pipes. I did all of that,
Wow.
right?
Cool.
It's a holistic thing. So I
And maybe
think I
that's why
like that
we're
idea.
connecting because of that. Because you got like you can see enough of this picture that you get super excited about it.
I've always been excited about what you're doing, Marcin.
More than
Always.
others. I mean, there's people who get excited. You're on the tops, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's kind of surprising how like I can present this to some people and they're like, oh yeah, cool, and they walk away. You know what I mean? I mean, which I don't get, but I mean that's how the world works.
Mm.
Well, for me, it's a very personal thing. My father built the house that I grew up in
Yeah,
from nothing,
yeah,
and I
exactly.
was there with him every step along the way. He was 2 years into having the lot. We moved to it roughed out when I was like two, and
Mm.
my life was spent cement and
Yeah,
wire,
yeah,
all of
yeah,
that. So I love that stuff. That's why I went into scenic and lighting design in the theater.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, so, okay, so we need to think about it and come back. I don't want to, I want it to be a good plan that is streamlined and makes sense. So we will need to, Adam and I will need to reconnoiter and put our brains on this, because and I want to make sure that we nail the scope and are clear with the initial scope and understand that, this is an unusual thing to put out there. And you can't just, use social ad hoc. You have to already have a lot of runway on that. And that is not what's happening here with you.
I'm gonna
So,
create those campaigns
I
right
mean, the
now. Yeah.
subscribers, there's like, what, 10 subscribers that said, welcome back, Marcin, on your YouTube. So, your people are fluid and they leave over time if the soil isn't tilled.
Yeah.
But I can ask one question too. Your timeline for this first group you said was July 15, right? You
That
want
was
to get
July
24
15th, but I
people?
think we're gonna just move that. So I didn't post the fellowship concept where we're gonna fund 4 grants like that. But I think the date on that is gonna be September 1. I'm just seeing how, yeah, the challenge is here. I thought, yeah, I didn't know about this social media thing that the soil wasn't tilled, and I think the sell is just much harder because it's a big commitment, right? And we don't have
Mm.
any track record, so it's just harder than I thought. Like I thought, in my own bias, I think, oh yeah, people are just gonna jump right up at it. We'll have a lot of applications. That's not happening. I mean, so I think, and then still September 1 is a tough thing too. But I think we can do it definitely by September 1 to get 24 people. That's what I'm operating on. Like I'm not gonna push this. I mean, we've been out to lunch for the last 2 years. I mean, we just got to start doing it because even just right now, just starting it and getting, starting to talk about it, it's major progress. It's like you see how
Right.
people react to it and what we need to change. Like just the recent change of like, first I was more like, oh, we're not gonna get the peak performers because they already do their own shit and stuff like that. Then I looked at the teal stuff again. It's like, no. This is actually the peak performers are the thing because it's like if I'm gonna canvas the whole world, I actually don't think it's gonna be as effective as more specific targeting. Even looking one by one to find those 24 people.
So
Yeah, that's
how did you trace back what Teal's been doing?
Well, it's just the website and reviews of
Okay.
his program. And of course, there's a lot of reviews like, yeah, he's smoking shit, because it's not, success doesn't come from the fact that people drop out of college. It's that you're already dealing with people who are high performance, right? So, that program is kind of like really heavy on anti-establishment. We're more like, no, let's create stuff, not like talk about throwing down, just complaining about the education system.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was smoke and mirrors for the first like 4 years
What
of
do you mean
his
by that?
life. Well, there were people that, that quit school that were not properly supported by the fellowship. They showed up and it was pretty much bullshit,
Well,
honestly.
they got still got 4K a month, right?
I think they did to a point, but there was a lot of disappointment in the origination. That I kept up with it for a while. I highly recommend though. You know, it's irrelevant, really, what Teal did and what he's up to. He's totally in the Curtis Yarvin camp, and it's all about it's their sense of freedom. It's so funny because back in the Wayback Machine, you and I were about freedom, right?
Yeah,
And
and it still is.
I think you're still offering a level of freedom that Teal never ever
Oh,
really.
so check this out. So actually, the problem is, so the bank idea comes from, you reevaluate what the institution of a bank is, and that is something that's backed by real value. And once you have a campus with productivity at least 10 million, at least 10, at the 10 million level, you can start talking about creating your bank.
Mm,
And you can, of course, make it cryptocurrency, but it's actually backed by, okay, so you can, something like, for example, you coin 10% money because I just made, okay, say I just spit out 10 tons of steel. I can take the value of 1 ton, which is $1,000, and write cash on, basically create, like the Federal Reserve does, create $1,000, because that means we can actually back up that money with real value. So basically, thinking about what the bank would look like and all that. So that's part of it, but the collaboration towards financial independence is the big one. We're all collaborating to create a safety net for everybody who participates in it, and that's
yeah.
clear because, as at the end of the day, you're gonna get land, create productive infrastructure. You've got real value and economic power because you're optimizing and open sourcing all the enterprise. So,
Mm,
for example, if we open source, like with the CD home, if anyone could actually read the details on the wiki right now, they'd be like, holy cow, this is amazing. This is actually a viable business model. And with those kinds of real economics, we're talking about collaborative wealth creation, where the more you create, the easier your life, the more time you have to self-determine, to pursue the things that you like, because it should be ridiculously easy to survive, and it's not right now, right? Because of all the parasitism in the world and all that, whatever the
How
really
have you found
inefficient
it
design of the world.
with living on your at the Factor E farm, and you've got the aquaponics
Yeah,
and
once you have all
the
of that, solar concrete, solar steel, we're manufacturing PV panels from sand, actually, stuff
mhm,
like that. You're growing potatoes and things like that. It's like the wealth generation is extreme. The capacity of humans to do that is extreme, but you need skill. You
yeah,
need a mindset of
yeah,
abundance, because right now we're living in a mindset of scarcity, and therefore like all the scarcity-based economics. But our goal is to say, okay, in 4 years you truly learned how to think in abundance, not scarcity, which
mm,
is what the normal world will feed and force into you as soon as you graduate. That's why we want younger people, so they're easy to shift to that mindset.
hmm. Okay.
This is so beautiful.
Well, you have to give us some time to think about how to do this.
Yeah.
It'll require a little research. We're going to put a little deal memo together, laying out what we think, and then you're going to come back and say, yeah, but what about this? What about that? We just have to work it out.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to, listen, read the transcript to this, see if we can't piece together this story. If there's any wiki links that are about this thing, any thinking that you've done that's written, send it to us. Send those links, because I know you are, so your website, I was on it, I was on the wiki. There's a lot of dead ends on that thing. Are you reactivating that, or what are you doing?
Website where, for example?
Oh,
Give me one example
like,
so I can
well,
tell you
just,
more about. We're migrating service right now, so we're actually going to get a real website within weeks.
okay,
So
okay. So you had links out there in the world, and those links are out in the wild. Those links that people are clicking on to go to places, those will be gone, is what you're saying.
no, because the URLs will all transfer.
Okay, I just want to make sure your URLs are good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great. Okay. So if, send us though, if there's anything that you've gotten written on this, I want to
Do you
see it.
want any of the philosophy behind, like, for example, the concept of distributive enterprise, which is the concept of how you create enterprise to actually non-proprietary that actually spreads wealth, as opposed to the concept of redistributive, which means that first you get robbed and then you get to pay for all kinds of services. No, I mean, I've got tons of this stuff, like
No,
there's something. No, I
I
mean,
want to see your seed house for this idea. I want to see the seed house for the
what I can do is,
24 people, the offer, what it looks like. I want to see that. That's
yeah,
the
yeah.
seed.
I'll try to feed you visuals because I also do a lot of that, and you can upgrade that and make sense of it. Yeah. Yeah.
That would be great, because if I could, if so I understand. In order to sell, to get you your 24,
Yeah,
right? First
I,
cohort.
I want to see like a one sheet or something of what you would uh, your distillation of, say you were interviewing, talking to one of the potential students and
Omar.
telling them,
Right.
yeah, you're talking to Omar and you're like, this is what you get, or this is what you will do in a nutshell, essentially. That I'd love to see something like that,
Yeah, what actions he'll live in, and then what are the opportunities that those actions will produce?
Right.
The what's the experience of the action, and then what's the benefit or opportunities that will be because of it?
Yeah, that doesn't need to be hyper detailed.
No.
Just like the bare bones, even somewhat conceptual.
Mhm.
What actions you do and what opportunities will emerge from those over the
Yeah,
3 years?
yeah. So, and I want to speak to the 24 people, okay?
Yeah,
And if you're going to bring in, one of those 24 people goes off and runs and build on his own or her own someplace out there in the world, and starts to replicate OSC, this process elsewhere, that's a possibility. You don't have to get into too much detail. Just say,
Yeah, I mean, ideally,
okay,
that 4 years is not enough. They're going to learn to design and build just about anything, but that's not enough to get around the whole enterprise and social vision stuff. So, like, you're going to grad school after that. So, we'd like to have people go to grad school, but after 12 years total, and then you're fully enabled to do what I do right now. Is I'll pop up a new city somewhere, new campus somewhere. That's the goal after 12 years. In 4 years, we'd like to hire you to continue developing. Oh, by the way, we didn't mention the Global Village construction set, but remember that?
yeah, of course,
The first cohort will participate intensely in making those 50 machines come to full product release.
right.
Now, that's $50 million of development effort. But in numbers, I see 1 million this year, 10 million next year, 20, and so forth. So the numbers are actually, with the current model, there's 50 million right there.
Okay.
With the scaling of the 24 cohort. The next major step is we got to show this 24 cohort works. People are learning and earning, and that this can, if they're doing that, this can go 10x next year.
Well, learning and earning, right there you have it. And headed towards, a life of, of living in, the idea that you can actually go on and have a life
Do
and
you
not
think
be
that maybe it
dependent.
would be more useful for you to maybe like look into this stuff again and maybe like do another session where you're just asking me questions? Well, how are you doing this? How are you doing that? Like maybe you
Well,
could,
no, I think I do want the one sheet or the two sheet or
okay, so we'll do
sketches.
that.
For the 24. I just want the story of the 24. That's what you have to focus on right now. You have to get those people in the door.
Okay.
Yeah, because quite obviously, after this year, after the first 24, the sale will be easier. You'll have people buying in the door down to join.
Yeah, but I wouldn't typically be talking about 10x, but I've learned that 10x is easier than 2x. Ha
Yeah,
ha. Mm-hmm.
yeah. But you gotta get
Yeah.
the first people in the door.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely, absolutely.
And there's this thing, the word cohort versus people. I mean, I think, we have to think about how to language this.
Yeah. That's why
Uh,
I was like completely stumped when I started going out into social media and got a brick wall. Yep.
yeah. Well, I mean, you tried.
Love it.
Social media could be very effective, but it has to be, and each channel is different and unique. And I
Yeah.
don't pretend
And
to,
so using emotional intelligence, I get pissed at that. It's like, oh man, this is so freaking lame. I have 60,000 people on my Facebook, and I'm throttled to like a few hundred seeing my posts. This is total. I am the product. So
yeah,
the long-term solution for that though is we develop, and this is where brand architecture. This is like, okay, this feeds into that. Like ideally, the thing is, and it already is quite possible with AI and all that. I'm writing on my wiki. I do every single day.
mm,
Imagine if we could just make that stuff publicly consumable, including video and all that. So now I'm feeding into YouTube's, then automatically into TikToks. It's AI is working on actually distilling all this to a coherent message, including embeddable forums and all this. So this whole ecology that's linked to now, okay, here's you can make meaningful contributions, you can fund, you can go to school with this. So the whole ecology of the publicity infrastructure that we build into this, that we have to build. And at that point, things like Facebook and Twitter will become less the traps they are for. I mean, they're the key tools for publicity, but man, that is so foul what they do. I
Oh,
don't.
I would not say that. I
Okay.
would say Twitter is a slippery slope for obvious reasons,
Yes.
because you're not going to get progressives if Twitter is, But I will say Substack is interesting. Number one. Number two, I think Meta's getting heavy duty into, the metaverse is getting huge,
Mm-hmm.
and you will not be able to ignore the metaverse, and you will not be able to ignore Discord and having a closed server environment in Discord and having contributors working with you in Discord, and it's really powerful. And you're used to Wiki, you're on it every day. I'm
I'm including the metaverse. For example, GPS tractors that now in the metaverse you're doing my agriculture from remote, or you're doing product delivery to customers. I mean that's all
okay.
there. That's part of that infrastructure that I'm talking
Okay,
about.
okay, all right,
It's
good.
it's it's blended. It's got
Yeah.
reality and
If you
virtual.
if you
Yeah.
And if you have your 24 cohorts on Discord in a closed circuited environment that is open, as open as you want to make it, but would there you're collaborating, you can even do what we're going to help you with initially, your marketing. I mean, you will also be able to do a lot of storytelling there as a collaborative, as a laboratory. Anyway, with that said, I think we just need to think about it. I just ask a little patience from you. I know you're feeling pressure, but this requires setting you up not to fail. And again, it'll still be some mystery meat attached to it, but I just want to see
Sure.
what we can do
I
and
got
see.
all the patience in the world. It just took a 2 year break.
How long
Coming
are you
in
going to be
hot.
in Poland?
Oh, just in and out a few days just for the funeral, and that's it. I'm heading right back because we got to do
Is
this.
your mother still alive?
Yeah, yeah. So part of that was helping her through that. I mean, she was obviously crushed and all that,
Right.
and she never really developed a lot of the skills of how to deal. My father used to do everything. So
Oh, who does
she
that sound like? Well, Katerina does a lot.
right. So she was caught off guard. Now she has to fend for all the business of life, and so
Yeah.
I was helping out and took a bunch of time. And so I'm
Now,
helping
when
out.
did they move back to Poland? I didn't know that they were in Poland.
They're not moving back. I mean, we've got a nice house in New Jersey there, right?
Right.
No, my mom's gonna come back after taking care of some things. She's probably gonna stay like a month or two. You know?
Oh, I see. I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
the next time I'm out there is in my private jet.
No, yeah, right. Because you're a cult, and you're an you're a build yourself cult, right?
Yeah, with open source jet engines.
Oh, I
Running
see.
hydrogen biofuel, hydrogen.
All right. Okay. Well, this was fun.
This is exciting. I love this. Like talking to you guys,
I'm
you're
excited.
loving it, and that's why I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
loving it. You know, I can speak this, and you get it. You respond to it. As
Well,
opposed to,
we kind of get it. I've also not speak for Adam, but I kind of get it.
yeah, I mean, enough to
Yeah.
the point that I'm very excited about telling you more and more about it. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I'm
let's
excited to hear more for sure. I'm
Yeah.
excited to get my head together with Emily and see what we can do. But there's
Yeah.
definitely
I was also recording.
definitely things we can do.
Yeah. I was also recording this on my side for quality control purposes. Am I allowed to publish this on YouTube since this was so exciting, or is this too too close?
It's up to you, Adam.
I don't. No one knows me on YouTube, so yeah, I don't care. Whatever. Go for it.
That would be great.
He's been sticking me on his wiki for
Oh yeah, oh yeah. No, this is gonna be.
since 2011. I mean, I don't know when was
Yeah,
that.
yeah, of course. This is great. Thank you. That would be
Okay.
good.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to you later.
Thanks so much, and we'll talk. We'll be in touch. I'll send
Adam, you
So
want to stay
nice to
on
meet
for a
you.
little bit?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.